everyone, have a nice day. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'll be discussing to you about solving quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. This is the fourth method of solving quadratic equation, and this is also a grade 9 lesson for week 1 in the first quarter. Our main objective is for you to solve quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. Before we go on with examples, let us try to remember the following steps in solving quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. First, transform the quadratic equation into the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Second, determine the values of a, b, and c, then substitute these values in the equation x equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Third, simplify the result. Last, check the solutions against the original equation. We will consider the first example. Find the solutions of the equation 2x squared plus 3x equals 27 using quadratic formula. First, rewrite the equation in standard form. The given equation is not yet in standard form, so what are we going to do with this positive 27? We have to transpose this one to the left side of the equation. So once 27 is transposed to the left side, it becomes negative 27. So you just bring down 2x squared plus 3x. So the resulting equation now is 2x squared plus 3x minus 27 equals 0. Next, determine the values of a, b, and c. So the value of a is 2, the value of b is 3, and the value of c is negative 27. Then, we have to substitute the values of a, b, and c to the quadratic formula. So we have now x equals negative 3 plus minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 27 all over 2 times 2. Then simplify. So copy negative 3 plus minus square root of, so 3 square is equal to 9. Then multiply negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times negative 27. The answer is positive 216. Then in the denominator we have 2 times 2. The answer is positive 4. Next, we have negative 3, copy, plus minus square root of. Combine 9 and 216. So 9 plus 216, the answer is 225. Then you copy 4 in the denominator. Now we are going to extract the square root of 225. So we have to copy negative 3 plus minus. The square root of 225 is 15. Then you just copy the denominator 4. So the first value of x is negative 3 plus 15 all over 4. So you simplify further, we have negative 3 plus 15, the answer is 12. Then just copy the denominator 4. 12 divided by 4, that is equal to 3. So the first value of x is equal to 3. For the second value of x, we have negative 3 minus 15 all over 4. Simplify further. Negative 3 minus 15, that is equal to negative 18. Copy the denominator 4. If we're going to divide negative 18 by 4, the answer is not an integer. So, we just express this one in fraction form, but it should be in lowest term. But the question is how? So just divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor between negative 18 and 4. So the greatest common factor between negative 18 and 4 is 2. So negative 18 divided by 2, the answer is negative 9. And 4 divided by 2, the answer is 2. So we have now the lowest term, x equals negative 9 over 2. To check whether the values that we obtained are really the solutions of the equation, we have to substitute these values to the original equation. So for x equals 3, so the given equation is 2x squared plus 3x equals 27. Substitute x by 3. So the resulting equation becomes 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3 equals 27. Simplify further. So we have 2 and 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3, that is positive 9. Bring down 27. Next, 2 times 9, that is equal to 18. Bring down positive 9, and then you have here 27. Combine 18 and 9. So of course, 18 plus 9 is 27. And on the right side of the equation, we also have 27. So if you have observed, we have a true equation for x equals 3. Now, we are going to check for x equals negative 9 over 2. Same process. Copy the given equation. Next, substitute the value of x by negative 9 over 2. So we have now the resulting equation, 2 times the quantity of negative 9 over 2 squared plus 3 times negative 9 over 2 equals 27. Simplify further. Copy 2. Then, quantity of negative 9 over 2 squared, that is equal to 81 over 4. How did we get this one? Negative 9 times negative 9, that is 81. And in the denominator, 2 squared, so 2 times 2, that is equal to 4. Next, multiply 3 times negative 9, that is negative 27. Then you copy the denominator 2. Then you have 27 on the right side of the equation. Next, 2 times 81 over 4. So we can cancel out common factor. 4 can be factored out as 2 and 2. So we only have 2. So we have here 1 already. So 1 times 81 is 81. over 2. Next, you copy plus negative 27 over 2, then bring down 27. We have now a similar fractions. So we have to copy the common denominator too. Combine the numerator. 81 and 27, negative 27. The answer is positive 54. So 54 over 2 and then bring down 27 on the right side of the equation. 54 divided by 2, that is equal to 27. So on the right side, you also have 27. So if you have observed, we also have a true equation for x equals negative 9 over 2. So we can now conclude that the solutions of 2x squared plus 3x equals 27 are 3 and negative 9 over 2. Let's have the second example. Find the solutions of the equation 2x squared equals 1 minus 2x using quadratic formula. Okay, first, write the equation in standard form. So 2x squared is already on the left side of the equation, just copy. Next, we're going to transpose 1 and negative 2x to the left side. So we have to arrange. After the quadratic term, it should be followed by the linear term. So 2x will be the next term. That's why we have here 2x. Since it's negative, transpose to the left side, so it becomes positive. Next, 1 becomes negative 1 equals 0. Now we have to determine the values of a, b, and c. So the value of a is 2, the value of b is 2, and the value of c is equal to negative 1. Then we have to substitute these values to the quadratic equation. X equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So the resulting equation now is negative 2 plus minus square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 1 all over 2 times 2. Simplify further. Copy negative 2 plus minus square root of 2 squared, that is equal to 4, and negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times negative 1, that is equal to positive 8. 2 times 2, that is equal to 4. Next, copy negative 2 plus minus square root of, combine 4 and 8, the answer is 12. Then, just copy the denominator 4. Now we have to extract the square root of 12. But if you have observed, 12 is not a perfect square. So meaning to say, there is no square root of 12 that is an integer. So what are we going to do is, we have to simplify square root of 12. We have to factor out 12 where one of the factors is a perfect square. So we have here x equals negative 2, just copy, plus minus square root of 4 times 3. Why 4 times 3? 4 times 3, that is equal to 12, and 4 is a perfect square. Copy also the denominator 4. Next, you copy negative 2 plus minus. Get the square root of 4. The square root of 4, we have here 2. We have to write 2 outside the radical sign. And 3 will be left inside the radical sign. Then copy the denominator 4. Now, we are going to simplify further. If you have observed, the numerator can still be factored out because we have a common factor between -2 and plus minus 2 squared of 3. And the common factor between the two is 2. So, we have -2 divided by 2. The answer is -1. And plus minus 2 square root of 3 divided by 2. The answer is square root of 3. No need to write 1 if the coefficient of the radical is only 1. So we have now the resulting equation 2 times the quantity of -1 plus minus square root of 3. Then copy the denominator 4. Next, we can factor out 4 as 2 times 2. So we can divide 2 and 2. That is already 1. So therefore, the expression that will be left in our numerator becomes -1 plus minus square root of 3. Because 1 times -1, that is -1, and 1 times plus minus square root of 3, that is plus minus square root of 3. And in our denominator, we have only 2. So the two values of x are, first one, -1 plus square root of 3 all over 2. And the second value is -1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. Now we are going to check if the values that we obtain are really the solutions to the equation. Okay, first, 4x equals -1 plus square root of 3 all over 2. So first, we have to copy the original equation. 2x squared equals 1 minus 2x. Next, substitute x by -1 plus square root of 3 all over 2. So just copy 2, and then we have -1 plus square root of 3 all over 2 raised to the power of 2 equals 1 minus 2 times the quantity of -1 plus square root of 3 all over 2. Simplify. Copy 2. This one, -1 plus square root of 3 to the power of 2. So we have a binomial expression in the numerator. So how are we going to simplify this one? So first, -1 squared, that is equal to +1. Next, the middle term is twice the product of the first term, which is -1, and the second term, which is square root of 3. So 2 times -1 is -2 times square root of 3. So we have -2 square root of 3. Next, the square root of 3 squared, the answer is 3. In the denominator, we have 2. So 2 squared, that is equal to 4. Then you copy 1. We can divide 2 by 2. So that is equal to 1. So that's why we have here -1 times the quantity of -1 plus square root of 3. Next, we can factor out 4 as 2 times 2. So we can divide 2 divided by 2, that's already 1. And 1 times 1, we have 1. 1 times negative 2, square root of 3 plus 3, so we have here in our numerator. Just copy. Now in our denominator, just copy 2. Next, we have here to copy 1. Why is it that it becomes positive? So negative 1 times negative 1, the answer is positive 1. And negative 1 times square root of 3, the answer is negative square root of 3. Next, on the left side of the equation, we can combine 1 and 3. So 1 plus 3, the answer is 4. Copy negative 2 square root of 3. Then you copy the denominator 2. Then just copy this one. So we have 1 plus 1 minus square root of 3. So in here, we can also factor this out. So we have 2 so 2 divided by 2, that's already 1. And this one becomes 2. So this one becomes square root of 3. So the expression that are left on the left side of the equation is only 2 minus square root of 3. So on the right side of the equation, combine 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. Copy minus square root of 3. So if you have observed, we have a balanced equation. 4x equals negative 1 plus square root of 3 all over 2. Now how about 4x equals negative 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. Same process. Copy the original equation. Substitute x by negative 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. So just copy 2, and we have here the value of x raised to the power of 2 equals 1 minus 2 times the quantity of negative 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. Now let's simplify. So we have here to copy 2. Same. Simplify the square of a binomial. So negative 1 times negative 1, that is equal to 1. Then the middle term is 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 times negative square root of 3. The answer is 2 square root of 3. And for the third term, we have square root of 3 squared. The answer is 3. Next, in our denominator, we have 2 squared. So 2 squared, the answer for that is 4. On the right side of the equation, we have 1, copy. So negative 2 divided by 2, we can cancel it out, and that's already 1. So that is why we have here 1. So 1 times negative 1 minus square root of 3. Next, we can factor out 4 as 2 times 2. So we can divide 2 and 2. So that's already 1. So our numerator becomes 1 plus 2 square root of 3 plus 3 all over 2. And in here we have 1, negative 1 times negative 1, that is already positive 1. Negative 1 times negative square root of 3, that is positive square root of 3. Next, we can combine 1 and 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. Then copy 2 square root of 3. Just copy the denominator 2. Now we can combine also 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then you copy square root of 3. Now, we can factor out the numerator. So, this will become 4. Factors of 4 are 2 and 2. So, we have 2. And for the 2 square root of 3, that's already 1. Or in other words, 4 divided by 2, that is equal to 2. And 2 square root of 3, that is already square root of 3. That is why we have here 2 plus square root of 3. And on the right side of the equation, we also have 2 plus square root of 3. So if you have observed, we have also a true equation 4x equals negative 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. So we can now conclude that the solutions of 2x squared equals 1 minus 2x are negative 1 plus square root of 3 all over 2 and negative 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. Hopefully you learned something for today's video. Before I end, let me share to you about this. Mathematics may not teach us how to add love or minus hate, but it gives us every reason to hope that every problem has a solution. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Kindly share to other students for them to learn or master the lesson. Please don't forget to subscribe to be updated for more math lesson videos and turn on the bell for notifications. That's all for today, and God bless you all.